That sure is emotional watching them walk in. I'm not sure if it's a drop of sweat or a tear going down the side of my cheeks, but that was sure touching. Seeing our graduates walk in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the commencement exercises for the Kaohsiung American School class of 2020. Today is a very, very special day, and we are thrilled to honor our graduates in today's graduation ceremony. Please take as many pictures as you would like, and of course, please make sure your cameras, phones, anything that beeps is on silence to show respect and honor for our graduates. As we celebrate our graduates, we have many special guests here today, and I want to acknowledge and thank those who are here to help celebrate this fine group of young people. I want to first and foremost recognize our class of 2020. They've overcome so much. Let's give them a big hand. In honoring them, I'm joined by Ken Lin, our board chair, Don Rock, our high school principal, Mr. William Brent Christensen, who is the director of the American Institute of Taiwan, and thankfully our graduation speaker, and his wife Brenda, and Gloria Gao from our faculty. Thank you to the KAS Board of Directors, represented by Ken Lin, Denny Ko, David Huang, Eric Chung, Monica Yang, Dr. Yimpin Wang, Tony Shien, Corey Pavicic, and Matthew O'Connor. In addition to his service on the KAS board, Mr. O'Connor is the Kaohsiung branch chief of the American Institute of Taiwan. Thank you to each previous board member in attendance today, some of whom have graduates seated right over there. Thank you to our PTA president, Susanna Ye, and our PTA executive staff. Thank you to the faculty and staff of KAS who have taught our students along their journey here and helped support their growth and development for so many years. And of course, thank you to our KAS parents and families. You have raised a fine group of young people, and we are glad to be here today to celebrate them together with you. To that one person who clapped, thank you. To our class of 2020, congratulations. During your time at KAS, you've shown your strengths in the face of challenge time and time again. I mean, this weekend started with prom. Prom. So while you were enjoying yourselves at prom, I just kept thinking about how you've grown as a class. We know your class, the class of 2020, certainly has not had it easy. And in this year, you walked through some unique challenges, uncertainty, sadness, even isolation, even fear, and then triumphantly danced, laughed, and sang your way through one of the world's only proms. And I'm impressed to say that each of you have developed what I think I would call the 3 Gs: grounding, gratitude, and grit. These 3 traits are going to serve you well throughout your lives. But what do these 3 Gs mean? Let's start with grounding. Grounding has many meanings, but in this case, I mean having a firm foundation in your mind of what's important and coming back to that foundation as you make important decisions throughout your life. This semester, through no choice of your own, you were all forced to focus on what's really important. As with graduates in the class of 2020 nearly everywhere in the world, you had to attend some school online. We were lucky here to only have had to do it for a short time, but still, that's a very hard change. I know that many of you really missed coming to school when we were online. Many of you have told me that what you missed most during that time was your friends, your classmates, and your teachers. You see, when things are easy, when life is clicking, when our minds are focused on a bunch of other peripheral stuff, chasing things that don't really matter, it's easy to take the people in our lives for granted. But this year, we learned that when faced with great uncertainty, we turn towards our families, our friends, and our colleagues for support and care. They keep us grounded in what's important. As you move on, the world will change, but never forget what is most important to you, and let that serve as a grounding force. Let's talk about the second G, gratitude. Many of you shared how excited and grateful you were to come back to school, even as students in other places remained online. Through this, we all experienced deep gratitude for the safe environment that you worked hard together to maintain, and for the ongoing dedication and support of our communities, and for the opportunity to continue doing things that we care about with people who mean something to us. In the midst of truly frustrating circumstances, we all learn what it means to be grateful, and holding on to that gratitude will serve you well throughout life, magnifying your joy and carrying you through future challenges. And the third G, I think you've shown more than any, is grit. And that word can mean many things. And in this case, grit means your courage and resolve and the strength of your character. It means that you keep doing your best and doing what's right, even when the world seems to shut down around you, the rules keep changing, and you don't know what the future may hold. Your circumstances do not define you, but your actions do. And this year, your actions, class of 2020, have shown your strength. This year has brought some difficult circumstances, and at the same time, it has highlighted your character and your resolve. Character is not what you take with you into a crisis, but what you emerge with. And you, the class of 2020, have emerged showing that character like none other. In fact, with time, people will see how you, the class of 2020, have changed your school, KAS, for the better. You've made it a safer, a more environmentally sustainable, a more accepting and welcoming, and a more humane school for every student who will follow you. How you have changed KAS for the better will always be part of your legacy. Graduates, as you well know, you're entering the world at a challenging time. What you will see, though, with ample time, is just how prepared you are to thrive, even in an uncertain future. It was Steve Jobs that said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward." So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. That approach has never let me down, and it's made all the difference in my life. Graduates, carry forward with your grounding, your gratitude, and your grit, and you will accomplish the things that in time you will find you are driven to do. And with time, you will see how those dots connect. Remember, you will always be dragons. Remember to come back and visit your home here at KAS. Class of 2020, congratulations.
Good morning, Dr. Ploeger, Ms. Rock, board members, parents, teachers, students, guests, and most importantly, the class of 2020. I am Risa Ito, and I am honored to be here today to introduce our speaker for the day. And first, I'll be introducing our Salutatorian, Maggie. She is hardworking, persistent, diligent, genuine, and a friend to everyone. She has been at KAS since preschool, and my memories with her go back to 3rd grade. Every day during recess, we would go onto the blue stage in the old campus and play with ants and flowers. But even back then, she was already at the top of the class. Over all these years, she has been a role model and an active member of the KAS community. She is someone who excels in all subjects, and even our teachers dream about her ability to find the cosine. She is someone, not only she is academically successful, she's also truly a kind person who is willing to help out her friends during stressful times. She's able to take all her responsibilities, and including schoolwork and clubs, seriously, but at the same time, she can still be around and goof around with friends. I'm certain she is someone who will continue to thrive and accomplish great things in college and beyond. And don't be surprised when she becomes the CEO of a company someday. So please join me in a round of applause to welcome our Salutatorian, Maggie Shien.
Good morning, faculty, families, friends, distinguished guests, and our one and only class of 2020. My name is Maggie Shien, and I'm incredibly honored to be speaking on behalf of my class today. Class of 2020, we're an extraordinary group of people. For those of you who may not know me, I've been at KAS since pre-K. I basically grew up in this community, and I know better than anyone else that the class of 2020 has always been known as the troublemakers. We've never really been the teachers' favorites. We're a bit lazy, immature, and often loud. However, I also know better than anyone else that we're never afraid to speak our minds, to stand up for what we believe in, and to support one another unconditionally. Thus, to each and every one of you in the class of 2020, I want to say congratulations because we finally made it. Through the torturing SAT practices, the stressful studying at kudos, and the never-ending college essays, we made it. Despite the doubts that others or ourselves may have had along the way, we are here in caps and gowns, ready to receive our well-deserved diplomas. I meant it when I said that we're extraordinary. We're the first class to consider Young, Dumb, and Broke as a graduation song. The first class to put a circus tent and a rice worm on the class hoodie. And also the first class to graduate with an additional accessory of a black mask. High school wouldn't have been the same without this extraordinary group of people. Alice as our iconic alchemist source star, Elliot as the loudest and brightest in the room, Ryan, or should I say Rio, as an impressive producer, Jonathan as our designated and very much appreciated class driver, William and Sammy as the life of any party, Risa as an extreme cow lover, and Angela as the gifted writer and the one with the best sense of humor. If you know us well enough, if you paid enough attention, you'll see that the class of 2020 has some of the most hardworking, intelligent, resilient, and compassionate students this school has ever seen. And that's what makes saying goodbye so difficult. The past 4 years have been a journey filled with both laughter and tears. We've made memories that we'll never forget and friendships that can never be surpassed. We'll soon be parting ways to embark on the next chapter of our lives, meeting people from all walks of life and building new connections. But if at some moment you find yourself sitting in your dorm room alone, feeling homesick in the middle of the night, or maybe just craving hot pot and milk shop, remember that no one else understands you more than your fellow classmates of 2020. And we will always be there for you, no matter where we are. If you had asked me a couple of months ago what graduation would look like, I never would have imagined it to be under tents on the wooden courtyard. But I guess that's just one of the valuable lessons high school has taught me. Life is full of unexpected changes. No matter how well you try to plan out your future, there'll always be changes that you can't possibly predict. So to all of my classmates, whether you're headed off to a place that you thought you'd be at or not, be proud of your accomplishments, cherish the present, and look forward to the future. I trust that we all have the potential to make a difference in this world. It's all right to make mistakes or change your plans. That's just the way life works. You're the one deciding what you want to do with your life. So take the risks, try your best, and never be afraid of the challenges that may come in your way. You are much stronger than you think you are. Our worth is not determined by our GPA, list of extracurriculars, or an acceptance letter from a college. Our worth comes from the experiences we've gained, the impact we've made, and the type of person we choose to be. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. There are probably some more sleep-deprived and stressful days ahead of us, but there will also be exciting opportunities and adventures waiting to be explored. Carry what you've learned in high school to the future and just have faith in yourself. Finally, to the teachers and faculty who have shown us patience and wisdom, thank you. To the families and friends who have shown us support and kindness, thank you. To the class of 2020 who have stayed true to yourselves and created unforgettable memories, thank you. It has been my honor to be a part of this incredible class. To conclude my speech, I quote 2020 vision, "We the best class you know, 202." Thank you.
Next, I have the privilege of introducing our graduation speaker for the class of 2020, Mr. William Brent Christensen. Mr. Christensen became the director of the American Institute in Taiwan's Taipei office in August 2018. However, his experience in Taiwan began over 40 years ago when he worked here in Kaohsiung. He has served in the United States Foreign Service for more than 29 years and has extensive experience in senior positions related to Taiwan and China. Mr. Christensen was previously the Deputy Director of the AIT Taipei office. Prior to that, he was the Director of the State Department's Office of Taiwan Cooperation, where he had a primary role in formulating U.S. policies towards Taiwan. Mr. Christensen earned his master's in East Asian Studies from the George Washington University, a bachelor's degree in Chinese language and literature from Brigham Young University, and a doctorate of medical dentistry degree from the Oregon Health and Sciences University. We are really honored to have him here today with us, and please give him a warm welcome.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction. Superintendent Ploeger, Principal Rock, Principal Payne, Principal Coyle, members of the board, KAS, PTA, KAS teachers, students, and parents. Taiwan. Thank you. It is my distinct pleasure to join you here today to honor the 2020 graduates of the Kaohsiung American School. This is the biggest crowd I've seen in some time. To the graduating seniors and their families, I congratulate you all on reaching this important milestone. It has been a tough way to end your time at KAS, but you made it. You're graduating at a time that is likely to become a major inflection point in modern history. We may look back and describe life in terms of BC, before COVID, and AC, after COVID. It's a time of great uncertainty and risk. No one knows how the SARS-CoV-2 virus will affect them or possibly infect them. As I understand it, all of you will be going to college this fall, and most are going to U.S. universities, I was happy to hear. I hope you are all accepted by your top choice. Even without the COVID pandemic and the uncertainty it brings, I'm sure you would have had some fears about the future. Short-term fears about how you're going to adjust to being away from home, like, will I like my school? Will I like my roommates? Am I really ready for college life? And long-term fears like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And do I have what it takes to succeed? My job today is to give you some encouragement and hopefully some advice that you will find helpful. And one of the first things I can assure you is that by graduating from the Kaohsiung American School, you are already well ahead of most of your future peers at college. The college experience will be hard, but I am confident in saying that KAS, one of the top-notch international schools in Asia, has prepared you well for the academic challenges ahead. So I have 3 pieces of advice for you today. 1, embrace self-discipline as a critical factor for your long-term success. 2, don't be afraid of changing course when circumstances or priorities change. And 3, be grateful. Okay, first piece of advice, develop self-discipline. No doubt you have all heard about the marshmallow experiment. This is Mianhuatang. In 1970, a researcher at Stanford University sat a series of 4-year-olds in a room and put a marshmallow on the table. He told them they could eat the marshmallow right away, but he was going to go away, and if they waited until he returned, he would give them 2 marshmallows. It turned out that the kids who could wait for the second marshmallow subsequently did much better in school. Those who could wait a full 15 minutes scored 210 points higher on the SAT than those who could wait only 30 seconds. 20 years later, those who could wait had much higher college completion rates, and 30 years later, much higher incomes. In contrast, those who could not wait were much more likely to struggle in school and have drug and alcohol problems. What this test was really measuring was whether the kids had the ability to control their impulses. Those who learned to do that early ended up doing well in school and in life. I'm inclined to think that most of you would have performed well in the marshmallow experiment. But for almost everyone, overcoming your natural selfish impulses will still be a lifelong struggle. And while some people seem to be born with more self-control than others, it is possible to develop significantly more self-control over time. New York Times columnist David Brooks, in his book The Social Animal, observed that small acts of rigorous ritual reinforce networks in the brain. And these regular repetitive acts of discipline can lay the foundation for extraordinary acts of self-control when it counts the most. Aristotle was right when he said, "We acquire virtues by first having put them into action." The folks at Alcoholics Anonymous put the sentiment in more practical terms with their slogan, "Fake it until you make it." Think about it this way. Anytime you'd rather stay in bed with the sheets pulled over your head but somehow get out of that bed and then make it, you are exercising self-control. Anytime you choose the salad over the French fries, you are exercising self-control. Anytime you do one more push-up when you are already exhausted, or practice that piano sonata when you feel like you have reached your limit, you are exercising self-control. Because you are not giving up, you are powering through even when that's the last thing you want to do, and you keep doing it. Confirming the value of these habits of self-discipline, a recent study of American business leaders found that the best CEOs were not flamboyant visionaries like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. Instead, they were diligent, resolute leaders who demonstrated self-discipline and dependability. Second piece of advice, don't be afraid to change course. The COVID pandemic is reminding all of us that sometimes the most carefully laid plans don't work out. Sometimes your circumstances change, as in the case of the pandemic, or your priorities change, requiring you to adjust your plans or make entirely new ones. Various polls show that people are universally afraid of change, of having to change, but it is our ability to change that allows us to grow. Some colleges require you to declare a major right away, while others allow you to decide on one later. But at some point, you will have decided on a major, and you will graduate with a degree in a particular field. But what if you spend all that time preparing for a profession for which there is no longer much demand, or that you don't particularly like? According to a panel of experts at the Institute for the Future, up to 85% of jobs 10 years from now have yet to be invented. While that number is undoubtedly an exaggeration, a lot of jobs, especially in areas where artificial intelligence and 5G technology will have a big impact, will be significantly different from what they are today. But you may still find yourself in the wrong kind of job for you, which is why a change may be in order. Human resource experts tell us that most people will change their jobs and even their careers several times during their working lives, but fortunately, it is almost always the case that even if you change course, your previous experience will still be valuable. A few years ago, I had occasion to meet Dr. Harold Varmus, who at the time was the director of the National Cancer Institute. Varmus studied English literature at college and went on to pursue a PhD in English literature at Harvard. But while at Harvard, he discovered that the life sciences held more interest for him, and making a dramatic break from his original plans, decided to go to medical school and become a medical doctor and researcher instead. This proved to be a very smart move for him. Some years later, because of his groundbreaking research on retroviral oncogenes, he was awarded the 1989 Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine. But in his autobiography, Varmus credited his earlier background in English literature for giving him key insights for his Nobel Prize-winning research. Although I've had a much less distinguished career than Harold Varmus, and I don't expect to get a Nobel Prize anytime soon, I also changed direction in my career. I previously attended dental school, as was just mentioned, at the Oregon Health and Science University, and then served for 4 years as a captain in the U.S. Air Force, Dental Corps. I had a promising career ahead of me as a dentist, but I found dentistry to be a lot less interesting than I thought it would be. So I took the Foreign Service exam, and when the State Department made me an offer, I took the plunge and changed careers to become a diplomat. And after 30 years in the Foreign Service, I was able to return to Taiwan as the AIT director, which in my mind is among the best chief of mission assignments in the Foreign Service. And despite this very different career path, my dental degree has proved to be quite useful. In my first assignment in Beijing in the early 1990s, there were no Western-trained dentists in the city, and I often spent my Saturday afternoons at a joint venture dental clinic treating the dental emergencies of my embassy colleagues, including an emergency root canal for the deputy ambassador, who later helped me get a plum assignment in Hong Kong. The science background also proved helpful for my assignments as the science officer in South Africa, where I helped implement a new program on HIV/AIDS, and later as the science counselor in Beijing, where I led the effort to establish the air quality monitor program at the embassy. Last piece of advice. be grateful. There's an old saying that if you've forgotten the language of gratitude, you'll never be on speaking terms with happiness. It turns out this isn't just a fluffy idea. Several studies have shown depression to be inversely correlated to gratitude. It seems that the more grateful a person is, the happier they are. Allow me to tell you about Deion Branch, a former wide receiver for the New England Patriots football team for 11 years, who played in 3 Super Bowls. In the lead up to a Super Bowl game, many professional football players deal with the stress by drinking and carousing. But Deion Branch opted for a different way of preparing himself for the big game in 2005. He picked up his phone and called every coach he'd ever had. He called his junior college coaches. He called his high school coaches. He even sought out the phone numbers of his Pee Wee League coaches and reached out to them. He made 13 phone calls in all. He called these men to say, "Thank you. Thank you for caring about me enough to teach me. Thank you for making me run stairs. Thank you for believing I could do this." He thanked his college coach for not giving up on him when his grades were bad. Deion stood only 5 feet 9 inches tall, so he thanked his high school coach for never saying he was too small to play football. These phone conversations were obviously very meaningful to his coaches, but more important, they also invigorated Deion Branch. He felt so motivated that he played his very best game that day, leading his team to victory, and was named the most valuable player of the Super Bowl in 2005. So as you set off on your own for college, be sure to thank your parents and your teachers for everything they have done to help you get to where you are today. So there are my 3 pieces of advice. Cultivate self-discipline, don't be afraid to change course, and be grateful. Finally, I want to leave you with some final words of encouragement. You really are the top talent of tomorrow. You really can do great things so long as you put your mind to the task and devote yourselves to a lifetime of learning. But you cannot be truly successful in the fullest sense of the word unless you contribute to something bigger than yourself. Cultivate a heart of service to your country, your community, your church, your school. Think about prosperity in terms beyond dollar signs, and recognize that no matter how talented you may be, you still need others. You need your family, your faith, your community, and your nation. These individuals and institutions make our lives meaningful. When you achieve material success, remember to give back to them some measure of what they have given you. Thank you again for inviting me to be here with you today. I am proud to have been a part of this occasion to recognize your impressive achievements. And I wish you every success on your path to become the leaders of tomorrow. Congratulations, class of 2020. Go Dragons.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Christensen, for your words for our graduates this morning. We appreciate that you were able to be here with us. I want to welcome all of our parents and our seniors. I'm not going to call you graduates quite yet. But I also want to welcome the graduates that I do see in the audience, the older siblings and other friends who've come back. Thank you for being here with us today. And all of the parents, congratulations on your children's achievements. Seniors, it has been a great pleasure getting to know you over the years, and especially in these last few weeks. We've spent a lot of time together. I am proud of the way that you've handled this difficult and uncertain semester, and it gives me great happiness that we're able to hold this ceremony for you today. Please know, and to everyone, all families, please know that you're invited after the ceremony for photos in the exhibition hall. We have a setup there, so anybody who would like to take some photos, please feel free to do so. Before I present today's awards, I would like to thank a few groups of people who've made today possible. First, our PTA. They have generously provided parting gifts for our seniors, and we thank you. I would also like to thank our IT office for making all of this possible today. I'm noting that it's very easy to speak into this microphone. Thank you. I'd also like to thank some key faculty members who've made today's ceremony possible. Ms. Gao and her student volunteers, thank you. Dr. Byers, who's been with the seniors pretty much every day for several weeks now, Ms. Newman and Mr. Buck. Without their help, we wouldn't make today's ceremony quite as polished as it is. And of course, I'd like to thank all of our faculty members who've helped in so many ways to ensure that we send up our seniors in style. Thank you all. Each year, we recognize a student we recognize a student who demonstrates a commitment to service and who clearly exhibits the learning outcomes we look for from these experiences. This year's recipient is a student who's been involved in a wide variety of service activities both on and off campus for a number of years. She's been a leader in effecting changes here on campus that are good not only for the KS community, but for the world. In addition, she's the true spirit of KAS, a component of our IB diploma program, as an opportunity to balance the academic rigors of the diploma program with the pursuits of creativity, action, and service. She's demonstrated an outstanding ability to collaborate with others and to reflect on her experiences in order to meet and exceed the goals she has set for herself. Her commitment to KAS over the past 2 years has prepared her for the challenges that lie ahead. I'm very proud to recognize Sammy Lowe for this. Our second service award goes to a student who's made a significant contribution to campus life here at KAS. Someone who brings positive energy to events and demonstrates through example how to build school community and spirit. This year, this award goes to a student who has an indomitable spirit and always has a cheerful smile to offer to anyone who needs it. He has been ever present at all student council and house events for years now. Congratulations, William Shien.
Each year, as a faculty team, we bestow the Superintendent's Award upon a student who strongly upholds our mission. This year's Superintendent Award goes to a dragon who is truly a shining star in academics, arts, and athletics, and I think you will see what I mean when I say the name. She's an independent learner, and she is certainly an aware and ethical global citizen. One of her teachers said, "She is simply one of the most outstanding young people I've encountered during my time teaching." Her ability to empathize with others, her intelligence, and her humble nature were evident even back in middle school. Another one of her teachers said, more than anything, she is responsive to her environment and empathetic to the needs of others. I see you trying to see where my eyes are looking. I'll save that for the end. You see, this is a student who is stellar in academics, and she's an award-winning athlete and a talented artist. She's a fierce yet sensitive advocate for a better future for humanity. You may also see her name on some award-winning films in the future. For these reasons, and many more, she has touched the lives of the class of 2020. She's inspired many of the dragons who are coming up behind her, and she will inspire and lead many in the years ahead, wherever she goes. As her counselor said, she is the heart and soul of KAS. As her principal, Ms. Rock, says, she is the mission of Kaohsiung American School. Please join me in recognizing and honoring this year's Superintendent's Award recipient, Ms. Alice Wong.
So finally, we'll be welcoming our valedictorian, Han Li. He is someone who is extremely dedicated to all of his work, and once he sets a goal, he will put 110% effort into it. He is organized and plans everything ahead of time, and really wouldn't be surprised to learn that he has been planning this speech since 9th grade. Beyond academics, he is a great friend and brings more laughter to our class. And if you ever get a chance, you should ask him to share his poem he wrote for literature class, Everything is Burning. As for extracurriculars, he is well known for his passion for debating, and I'm sure we've all debated about something with him before. He placed second in debate for World Scholars Club and has been an active member of Emcee throughout high school. One thing we've all learned over the years is that on assignments where we have to present, if you don't give a strict time limit, he'll definitely be speaking for over 30 minutes. But Han Li, you only have 5 today, so without further ado, let's welcome our Valedictorian Han Li.
Distinguished guests, beloved families, valued friends, diligent faculty, and soon-to-be graduates of the class of 2020. We are united here this morning in a spirit of celebration to mark an end to a long journey. A journey through which precious memories were forged and lifelong friendships were developed. As many of us will be flying away from Taiwan in a few months, I find it fitting on this occasion to use a long-distance flight as a metaphor for a shared journey here at Kaohsiung American School. So here goes. Just like any flight, ours began with boarding and finding our seats. For many of you, this was a breeze, and you quickly settled into your places in the class. For others, however, this process was a little more difficult. Some were shyer, some were more nervous, and some were a little more annoying. I was a little bit annoying. But by the end of freshman year, we were all seated and ready for takeoff. Now, the first few hours of a long flight are always the most exciting. Indeed, as we transitioned into sophomores, life was smooth sailing. Countless hours were spent on Netflix, hangouts took place every weekend, and academics were nowhere near the top of our priority list. Good times, however, never last long, and as we approached junior year, we flew into turbulence. IB and AP shook us up and down, skipping morning classes emerged as a prominent class culture, and many of our grades began free-falling at negative 9.81 meters per second squared. But even then, the worst was yet to come. As we hit senior year, the onset of college applications, IAs, EEs, mock exams, and IB preparations were lightning strikes that set the engines on fire. And the unexpected arrival of the coronavirus swiftly tore off the wings from the side of the aircraft. Some cried, many panicked, and all of us were uncertain about our future. But here we are today, safely landed on the tarmac. And all of us are ready to disembark and catch our transfer flights that would take us to each of our new destinations. For some, this means taking a step closer to their dream careers at art, film, and medical schools. For others, this means taking a gap year to pursue their passions. And for Elliot, this means taking 2 years of honorable service in the Singaporean military. Good luck, Elliot. But as we set off on each of our paths, it is my hope that the memories of our times here will accompany us going forward. We will not forget Mr. Buck and his odd sense of humor, which, although sometimes aggressive in nature, never failed to lighten the mood in class. We will not forget Mr. Carter and his physics camera, which not only helped us determine the direction of acceleration, but often gave us a more positive outlook when things didn't go our way. We will not forget the IB music classes that were spent sleeping inside the practice rooms, the intense debates on social issues that never ended in agreement, or the pool club that became an almost daily hangout. Nor will we forget Dennis's verbosity in debate, Angela's advocacy for equality, Risa's self-characterization as a mooing cow, or Alice's singing that never failed to impress. And we will definitely not forget the atmosphere of inclusivity, the diversity of talent, and the close bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood that have always defined our class and will define the legacy we leave behind. Now, to my fellow graduates, I don't believe that I'm in a position to offer you advice on the next few years, for I myself am as uncertain about what is to come as all of you are. But I do have one advice. After we toss our graduation caps and leave our seats, please take time to thank all those people who have showered us with care and love throughout these past years, because our successes here today would not be possible without any of them. To the administrative, security, and cleaning staff who have provided us with a clean, safe, and efficient environment to learn, we thank you. To the counselors who have tended to our mental well-being and guided us through the labyrinth of college applications, we thank you. To the teachers who have dedicated countless hours not only to prepare us for IB and AP exams, but also to help us grow into knowledgeable and skilled young adults, we thank you. To Ms. Rock and Dr. Ploeger, who have kept us safe throughout the pandemic and gifted us with as normal a senior year as possible, we thank you. I would also like to express my own gratitude to some of the people who I love and cherish. To all my friends in the class of 2020, you're some of the most accepting and open-minded people I've ever come across. And you have always accepted me for who I am. I thank you. To my grandparents, my uncles, and my aunts, you were always there to encourage me and cheer me on, and have made my life in Taiwan so much more colorful. I thank you. And lastly, to my parents, you have always supported me in everything I did and continue to make immense sacrifices to give me everything I would ever need. I would not be standing here today without you. 빠, 마, 谢谢你们. 아빠, 엄마, 사랑합니다. Fellow graduates, it is an immense honor to have been on this 4-year journey with each and every one of you. Celebrate, cry, embrace, and say goodbye. Congratulations, class of 2020, and Godspeed.
We can be
Dr. Ploeger and Mr. Lin, our board of directors, I'm very proud today to certify that these 60 seniors have met the graduation requirements for Kaohsiung American School. Please confer their diplomas.
Jessica Seng. Laura Cole. Charlene Liu. Catherine Liu. Sharon Lin. Sharon Lin. Bella Lee. Isabel Lim. Vanessa Chen. Julia Wong. Jasmine Lee. Alice Wang. Tiffany Lee. Angela Young. Sammy Low. Risa Ito. Vicky Xu, Laurent Bielilev, Bella Chu, Vincent Liu, Jonathan Paul, Ryan Lin, Timothy Penn, Daniel Wu, Candy Wang, Bowen Liu, Harrison Huang, Teresa Chen, Britney Lin, Anita Xu, Chloe Liu, May Chen, Nyla Chen, Jasmine Lin. Anthony Huang. Brandon Huang. Tyrone Jen. James Chen. Han Li Seon. Maggie Shien. Taylor Cole. William Xu. Jamie Lin. Stephen Liao. Maggie Hu. Vicky Huang. Andy Kwol. Elliot Low. Dennis Wang. Jason Lee, Lawrence Wang, Nelson Chang, Justin Chen, Alan Zhuan, Charles Ho, Jerison Lee, Oliver Chen, Patrick Yu, Peter Lin, Stephen Cheng,
All right, everyone, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Please move your tassels from the left to the right. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Kaohsiung American School graduated class of 2020.